Joey Ramone with the song Maria Bartiromo. That was off Joey's solo CD. The only real official solo CD. I mean, that was, in fact, released posthumously. It was a lot of stuff that luckily Joey had finished up and was happy with and would have wanted released. You know, they released a follow-up Joey Ramone's solo record called You Know, and I don't know, that one was a little weird to me because this was a lot of stuff that Joey had started work on but didn't really get a chance to complete, and things like maybe he had done years ago, and then to round out the sound, whoever put out the CD, I think Joey's brother may have, but they brought in other like studio musicians to come in, work on it, and add some guitar parts, drum parts, whatever. And to me, that's a little weird because it's like if Joey Ramone may not have, wanted his song that way or something. So, the guy died. I don't know. It was a weird situation. But anyway, the last song there, Maria Bartiromo, was off what I consider the one real solo album by Joey Ramone. And I think it's a great album. So, check it out. Don't Worry About Me, it's called. And that song, Maria Bartiromo, is about the gorgeous financial expert who I believe is now on Fox Business Channel. But Joey used to watch her on TV, as he said in that song, and really dug her and wrote a song about her. And it's a great song, and she's commented on it, said how honored she is by that. And yeah, so anyway, Maria Bartiromo still looking real good these days as well.
What's the biggest concert you've ever been to?
I saw Megadeth about 10 years ago.
What? I'm so jealous. Oh,
that was a pretty big show. It was part of the Gigant tour, so they had a bunch of opening bands, which I'm not, I didn't like a lot of the opening bands, so I was just really there to see Megadeth and maybe Overkill. But they could have done without the 6 opening acts, I would have thought. But the show was still awesome. Yeah, it was like a mini tour, like whatever they called it.
Have you ever heard of Rock on the Range?
Yeah.
Oh, the year that I went, I've only been once, unfortunately, because I've had stuff going on every single time.
Yeah.
They have that concert, but it's a 3-day concert in Ohio, and there were a lot of bands.
Yeah.
And it's but it was hot. It's very hot.
Oh yeah, it's dead of summer.
Yeah.
Outside. Yeah.
Right. That was an experience. What was I gonna say? You know who I can't stand? Oh, it was really bad in concert. Oh. Puddle of Mud.
Oh, yeah?
Puddle of Mud is so terrible. Oh, my goodness. I saw them in concert. I was like 13 years old. They have some rock fest, I don't know, in Louisville, my hometown. And they were like so uncoordinated and just offbeat.
Did you like them on the records?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
There's some songs that I can, jam out to, but
I know what you mean, like a band that you really dig the records, and then you see them live. And I mean, one I think of is Rob Zombie. Have you ever?
No, but he was at Rock in the Range.
Yeah, right. Like Rob Zombie, I dig his music on the CDs, but as a live performer, the dude just runs out of breath all the time. He just doesn't seem to have that energy that I want, I'm hoping for.
And it's such a disappointment, too, because you're like, oh, man, this band is going to be awesome. Yep. And then you hear them live, and it's like, oh.
It's a definite letdown.
Like,
yeah. Charlotte Ray from Facts of Life says alcohol became her drug of choice. She, of course, played Mrs. Garrett. She was on Different Strokes before she moved over to Facts of Life. But evidently a big drunk for a while there. Unfortunately, drugs plagued Different Strokes. Dana Plato died at only 34 back in 99 after having all kinds of problems with drugs and alcohol, and she just really became lost, and it was too bad. I mean, so many child stars go down that road. She got mixed up with the wrong people. I mean, as she lay dying, she was living in an RV with this guy that she hooked up with, a guy who never would have had a shot with Dana Plato had she not been under the influence and on hard times. I mean, that's just the reality of it. So this guy knew that he struck oil with her, and And as she lay dying, he was like snapping pictures of her. Then he eventually called 911. I just thought it was a real weird, creepy situation. And this was right after she did the Howard Stern show. She was on his show like a day or two before she died, because they actually called her death a suicide, which I don't know. I mean, it could have been an accident. It was a prescription drug. But they a lot of people blame Howard for that, for the way he treated her that led to her doing that. Now, I heard the interview. I think it's still up on YouTube if you're interested to hear it. Dana Plato on Howard Stern a couple days before she died. And, you know, anytime you go on the Stern show, you kind of know what to expect, at least back then. The Stern is kind of softened up a bit, but back in the day, you knew what to expect with when you were going on his show. So Dana knew, and she'd done his show before. And honestly, I don't think he was really hard on her anyway. If anybody was, it was some of the callers that were giving her a hard time. But the whole thing was just a real sad situation that she would die at only 34. And then tragically, I think in 2010, she had a kid. During the later seasons of Different Strokes, they in fact wrote her off the show. It was kind of a scandal at the time. Like, you know, she was supposed to be like the teen dream, not supposed to be getting knocked up, but she did, and they wrote her off the show. So that was really hard on her. Anyway, this kid who she had in, you know, I'd say like 84, 85, ended up killing himself in 2010. His name was Tyler. So, I mean, just tragedy plagued the Plato family. I mean, they interviewed that kid when he was about 12 in the E! True Hollywood Story of Dana Plato, and he seemed like a pretty well-rounded kid. Like, he spoke well, seemed intelligent, and you would think, like, you know, with Dana Plato and having all of her difficulties, that the kid might be a little messed up, but he really wasn't. And then I thought, like, you know, he was gonna be all right, and then he killed himself years later. So tragic stuff. Kind of went off topic. I'm not sure why I got into all that, but there's some the Dana Plato story for you if you did not know. Let me ask you this, because I saw this on your IMDb, and I'll tell you, getting a hold of old Saturday Night Live episodes is not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not. Yeah.
So you are credited in an episode of SNL where you played Cheryl Ladd.
Yes, they did a spoof on Battle of the Network Stars, and I was Cheryl Ladd, and I forget who Belushi played. Gilda Radner was there. I mean, this is in their early years.
Oh, yeah.
It was just so much fun. What a great experience that was.
I mean, those are legends. I mean, Belushi, Radner.
I was there with legends. It was hilarious. We had so much fun. It was a lot of rehearsals and then all day. And the musical guests that night were the Rolling Stones.
I mean, you talk about legends through and through.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I only did one Saturday Night Live, but I think I did a great one.
I wish I could see it, yeah.
Yeah, you know, nowadays you can't get this stuff. If all this stuff was shot now, you know, with YouTube and everything, everything's available. I can't even get some of the older commercials I did that were great. I'm trying to get copies of stuff, and I can't get it. Because in those days they didn't...
Yeah.
They didn't put it all out there. You have to have it on the original reel.
I know, and it seemed like the content back then was just way better than a lot of stuff now. So
yes, but they didn't save it. They saved it in their archives, but it wasn't out there in the world.
Yeah, right.
Where you could just pick it and get it. Very hard to find things.
It really is. Yeah, that's too bad. But you got the memories anyway.
Yes, yeah, it was great.